All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Thanks for joining us today for the volunteer training on our new curriculum. We're excited to have everybody that's popped on today. I am joined by McKenna Inglis, our Muskegon Area Program Coordinator. So between the two of us, we're going to kind of run through this presentation that we've got for you guys. And then if you guys wouldn't mind, any questions that kind of come up throughout this training, just throw them in the chat box and we'll address them all at the end. And then we'll have some time at the end for some open Q&A if you guys have any other questions. So we will go ahead and get started. McKenna, you can hear me all right, right?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay. Yep, perfect. Oh, come on. There we go. So this is our mission statement here at First Tee. So First Tee is a youth development organization whose mission is to impact the lives of young people by providing educational programs that build character, instill life-enhancing values, and promote healthy choices through the game of golf. So we are all here to not only teach golf to kids, but also those great life skills that kind of come naturally through the game. And that is one of our big focuses here at First Tee.
So just a little bit about First Tee as a national or international organization. West Michigan makes up one local chapter. There are over 150 United States and international chapters that are all under the First Tee network. First Tee network was founded in 1997. Just for some context, our chapter was founded in 2011 in Grand Rapids. And then across the network, we have partnered with 1,400 different golf courses or green grass facilities. We have over 4,200 trained coaches. So that's like completing a level 1 training and being able to deliver classes as a lead coach, and have served 139,000 participants in the Life Skills Experience program. So these are just some quick numbers about First Tee as a network, not our chapter specifically.
So some chapter highlights for you. So these are going to be specific to our West Michigan chapter. As McKenna said, we were founded in 2011 by Tyler Smees. He is our executive director. We have 10 full-time staff members now. First Tee West Michigan started out as just Tyler back in 2011 as the only full-time staff. So we've grown quite a bit. And I think over even the last 3 to 4 years, we've really added like 5 new full-time positions. So we've been growing quickly. We've got 75 or more part-time coaches on staff with us, including 30 junior coaches. So those are kids that have been in the program and are now coaching with us. 300 volunteers, such as yourselves, across our communities. In case you don't know, we are in 4 different communities here in West Michigan. Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo is our newest, and then Holland and Muskegon. Our chapter does programming at over 20 different area golf courses, and we served over 1,800 students here in West Michigan last year. Looking to continue to grow that number here in 2023.
So we have just recently gone through a curriculum change. Our curriculum used to be experience-based and level-based. So we used to have the player, par, birdie, and eagle levels, and everyone would start in the player level, which is the intro level, and work their way up through eagle, and then ace was our top tier level. And there were several different ways that kids could move through the program. They had to complete skills testing, written tests. As they got older, volunteer hours in the program itself, and had to meet a certain age requirement. We've done away with that. And as a network, we are switching to an age-based program. So it doesn't matter where kids are at skill-wise. They will all be grouped together with kids that are similar age as them. So if you want a comparison, the player level is now the 7 to 9 level, pars 10 to 11, so on and so forth. This is really great for a lot of reasons. A lot of other sports that kids register for are age-based, you know, baseball, t-ball, basketball. So it's just a natural transition for parents, as well as being able to group kids and speak to kids about our key commitments and our life skills at a cognitive level that is right for them. We can break groups up by golf skill within that cognitive age group, but it's hard to break kids up and speak to them differently. You know, you speak to a 7-year-old different than a 12-year-old. One of the biggest changes that is happening in our chapter is our free and reduced price lunch families. Those are the families that we refer to as our scholarship families. They used to get class for $5, so they would only pay $5 for the full 6-week session. And this year we have changed it to free of charge. So they are not paying anything to come out.
Sorry, my button's not working. There we go.
Okay.
So this is a model. Let me click all the way through it here. That HQ kind of created for us. So here at First Tee, we believe that kind of golf is the bottom of that pyramid. So golf is the reason that everybody comes together. That's our kids, that's our coaches, that's you guys as volunteers. That brings us all in. So golf plus our curriculum, and then plus our coaches and volunteers, that's what's going to build the game changers. And game changers is kind of First Tee's tagline. So that's what we're trying to do here today, is teach you a little bit more about our curriculum, and then that's what you guys will be doing as you are out volunteering for each of your classes. Yeah. Oh.
So previously we taught 9 core values, and we centered all of our lesson plans and all of our delivery around these 9 core values: respect, courtesy, honesty, integrity, those types of values. And part of the big curriculum change was switching from those to the 5 key commitments. You can see them on the screen. They're pursuing goals, growing through challenge, collaborating with others, building positive self-identity, and using good judgment. So all 5 of those things are now the umbrellas of what we're teaching as far as our life skills. And then we are each core value, or oh my gosh, each key commitment relates and has core values under it to help support. Yeah, here we go. Help support being able to master those 5 key commitments. So we talk about all of the commitments, or all the 5 key commitments, at every age level, which is a new concept. Just as kids get older and have a deeper understanding, we're able to take topics into a deeper level, take them into the next level, versus at the younger age, we're just introducing these 5 key commitments.
Yep. So as you can see on the left here, these are kind of various breakdowns of the key commitments that you might see depending on which age group you're coaching. So at our youngest group, our 7 to 9 group, these will be broken down in very simple, easy ways for those 7 to 9-year-olds to understand. And as McKenna mentioned, as they grow through the program, we'll continue to build upon each of these commitments. So hopefully that when they enter those 14 plus classes, they really have them down and they can take with them these different things and really use them outside of golf, and you know, in high school and on if they're going to college or in whatever career path that they choose. So What we deliver as a program that most of you will experience or have experienced in the past is called our life skills experience. So what is this? These are our 6-week class sessions. They run once a week for 6 weeks. Class is typically 90 minutes. We have outdoor programming from April through October. That consists of 3 different seasons, spring, summer, and fall. We do have an indoor winter season, and we'll discuss that just a little bit as well. So McKenna alluded to this earlier, but any student that's eligible for free or reduced price lunch at school will participate with us for free. We had 42% of our kids last year on scholarship with us. So that's 800 kids that participated on scholarship through First Tee West Michigan, which is a fantastic number. So what is the life skills experience? It's these 3 buckets that you'll see over on the right-hand side. So it's our life skills curriculum that we just talked about a little bit, mixed with our golf skills. So that's going to be our chipping, putting, full swing, and different swing mechanics and cues that we use in class. And then combining those with healthy habits. So healthy habits can be eating right, getting enough sleep at night, drinking water, exercising, different things like that. They also surround social and emotional aspects of the kids' lives as well. So combining all of those into class seamlessly is our goal here at First Tee.
So this is just a little bit of a breakdown of how class is going to flow. One of our goals is to have all of our classes run very similarly. So if you see a class in Grand Rapids and a class in Muskegon, you'll be able to recognize kind of the bones of the class because they're running similarly. So every class starts with a warm-up. For that first 5 to 10 minutes of class, we do, stretching, hand-eye coordination, light movement, just to get that heart rate flowing. And that is also the time you can introduce that core value. That's a great time to be able to kind of get to know the kids and get them talking. And then the bulk of that class is going to be those games and activities. So the lead coach will plan all of these games and activities, and usually as a volunteer, you'll be asked to run one of them. Some coaches run a little different, but this is where we'll be working on that golf skill. We'll be working on integrating the key commitment. And usually for the younger kids, we have 2 to 3 games depending on the length of class. So you'll just rotate through class. Then at the end, we do a wrap up in what we call our bridge to life. This is where we bring that key commitment, that life skill back into the conversation, and we talk about how they can take it off the golf course, to school, at home. Lots of time for open-ended questions, again, getting the kids to really speak up. And then after class, while cleaning up or right at the end, we like to do what we call a good, better, how. So what went well during class, what's something that could have gone better, and how can we make class better? So that's a conversation between you as the volunteers and your lead coach. And it doesn't have to be very long, just a couple minutes. Just a couple bullet points down here. If at all possible, as a volunteer, you should be coming to class about 15 minutes early. We know sometimes things are tight, and good communication is a part of that. So giving your contact information to your lead coach, letting them know, hey, I'm going to be late today. Hey, I can't make it today. Those are critical parts of making sure that the lead coach can plan for class well. And then probably the most important thing is just making sure that the kids are safe and having fun. Sometimes you might not know how the game is supposed to run, but as long as they're having a good time and no one's getting hurt, that's great.
That's successful. One thing for me to add just to that good, better, how is this is a really good time for you as a volunteer to let your lead coach know if any, problems arose at your station, if you had any kids that might have been butting heads that maybe shouldn't be in the same group together the following week. Anything like that that you see that maybe the lead coach wasn't around and didn't see it, that's a great time to bring it up to them, so that we can make sure that we get that situation handled going forward.
That's another great time to make sure that, like, if the game wasn't working or if the kids didn't seem to be having fun during the game, that's something that as a lead coach we might not pick up on or be able to see. So that'd be a great time to say that too. Like, it's okay if they weren't having it.
Yep. Not all of our games are going to hit all the time. So definitely good to let the lead coach know if your kids were bored. So what you see on the slides now, these are our first tee building blocks. This is our coach philosophy that HQ came up with. So all of our coaches most of our lead coaches have gone through level 1 training at least. So they have learned kind of this coach philosophy. So we're just sharing it with you today so you kind of understand where we're coming from. It's built up of these 4 blocks. So empowering youth and continuous learning. These are our 2 building blocks to really help build and grow relationships. So as volunteers, I think this is where you guys can make the most impact on our students. Asking open-ended questions is huge, really getting to know those kids, empowering them to, open up to you, to help build or lead games in class. Anything you can do to have a positive relationship with the kids that you're coaching is going to be huge for them. The other 2 building blocks are activity based. So as McKenna mentioned, the bulk of our class is going to be driven around game based activities. So unlike most junior golf programs where you would go out and whack balls and then, maybe learn a couple things about chipping and putting, we really use a big bulk of our class to play games to teach these different skills. That's how we keep those kids engaged and having fun, especially in our younger age groups. That's how they get attached to golf a little bit quicker, in our opinion. And then mastery driven is just kind of creating that optimal learning environment for your kids. So using really simple swing cues, which your lead coach can help you with, but simple instructions those are going to be better. Breaking things down easily for those young kids to understand. Modeling, so maybe showing them what you mean when you're instructing them to do something. And then I feel like there was one more, McKenna, but I just lost it.
It's on the next slide.
Is it? And then feedback or optimal challenge, I guess. So optimal challenge would be if you're running a station, just making sure that you're giving your kids an opportunity to have pretty quick success, especially with our younger students. So obviously we want to challenge kids and challenge our better and more experienced kids. But we also want to challenge those new kids in an easier way so that they are going to have fun in class. If you're not making a putt because it's a 10-foot putt and it breaks a lot, like making that putt shorter, doing just different things to help your kids see early success, and then giving good feedback, making sure that we're not only giving positive feedback on good shots, but positive feedback on the process. So if you are working on grip and you had a kid that wanted to grip the golf club like a hockey stick, and by the end of class, they're gripping it like a normal golf grip, giving good feedback on that, even though they might not be hitting the ball very well yet.
So we deliver or offer several different opportunities for kids and volunteers. And if you volunteer at one of these opportunities that's not a six-week session, it'll look a little different. So we have different playing opportunities and junior leagues. So our junior league is run very similarly to like a men's or women's league for adults. Kids come out for 6 to 8 weeks. They play at a golf course. It's modified to be more still challenging, but more have a higher success rate, usually starting them closer to the hole. And then sometimes we'll play different formats and keep score. Pretty fun and engaging time. We also have a Play 9 initiative, which we have volunteers walk alongside groups of kids, 3 or 4 per tea time. Similarly, we set this up where kids are successful. We start them closer to the hole. They walk, they carry their own bags. They do complain about it, but they have a good time. So a volunteer opportunity in this regard would look different than a 6-week class volunteer opportunity.
We also offer individual instruction. So you might get this question from parents at classes. Hey, can my kids get private lessons or small group lessons? This is something we do offer through local pros. So every area has a different pro that they work with. We do $15 lessons for any of our students on scholarship. And then in the winter, we also do small group lessons at a discounted rate of $15. For our full price students, lessons cost $70, so they're a little bit more expensive. But in our minds, that's really to try to drive our scholarship students to these individual instructors. As you can see, we've got a couple there. Randy White does lessons really in all of our communities except for Kalamazoo. Derek Thornberry does lessons out in Muskegon for us. And Jimmy Wazinski does lessons here in GR. We're working on some people down in Kalamazoo as well for this year. But this is a really good opportunity if you have a student that's a little bit more advanced in class. This might be a great thing to maybe nudge your lead coach on and say, hey, so-and-so might be interested in individual instruction, or obviously it's something you can also feel free to market to the parents. McKenna, yeah, there you
go. Taylor talked earlier about our winter programming. This is homework and hitting. So this runs kind of in 2 chunks. We run November to December, and then we run January to early March. And it looks a little bit different kind of everywhere you go. And we offer programming inside. So at large locations like school, gyms, church meeting areas, our office area has an event space downstairs that we've used. And this is a really great opportunity for us to build relationships with kids. We get a lot of time just chatting, working through homework. Kids bring their homework. We provide educational materials, word searches. In this picture, you can see I think they were coloring. These were my kids. And we give them snacks and just kind of time in the net, time on a putting green. So we kind of have 2 different versions of this. I would say we have our partnerships where we go into these schools and we run programming for an hour to an hour and a half, very similar to our outdoor program, but with the added homework piece. And then we have a drop-in program where kids come to us, and that's a little heavier on the swing training, on getting reps in a hitting net, as well as sitting down and having some educational opportunities and some one-on-one conversations with coaches.
Yeah, if you guys if you stick around Michigan in the winter for one, but if you're interested in getting to know kids on a little bit deeper level, homework and hitting is a great space to do that. You just end up getting a little bit more one-on-one time with kids, and you can really start to see the impact that you're making on a day-to-day or a weekly basis as these kids come back and they get to know you more each week. So just so you guys know, as volunteers, first he does have a code of conduct. Our expectation from our lead coaches is that they introduce this at least for our 7 to 9 and 10 to 11 age groups on the first week of every session. So the code of conduct there is all about respect. So respect for myself, others, and my surroundings. Know that as volunteers, you guys can feel free to use this and touch back on this during class if you have a kid that's acting out or not paying attention, or damaging the green with their putter or with a golf ball. This is a really good tool to come back to. Just to say, hey, week 1, we talked about the code of conduct. Are you showing respect for the green by hitting your putter into it? So just know that this is something that's easy to grasp for kids, and it's easy for you guys to come back to if you need to during class.
And then the weather policy, as we do live in Michigan, it is crazy weather. So we will cancel class as a staff for these reasons. If the wind chill is 45 degrees or lower, and that's that feels like temperature. If the heat index is above 95 degrees, if there's a 60% chance or greater of thunderstorms in the location of the golf course, that is when we will make that call to cancel class. We will have class in light rain depending on the temperature. We'll not have it if it's cold and blowing and all of those things. The lead coach does have the autonomy to make that call. Obviously, we cannot be at every golf course at the start of every class, and so we just do our best to watch the weather. If the lead coach gets there and it's just nasty, the course is closed, XYZ happens, they may be able to make that call. As a staff, we make the call 1 hour before the start of class. We try to make it as close to that 1 hour mark as possible, as things do change quickly. If it's going to happen, if we're going to make the call closer to the start of class, that's going to be in conjunction with the lead coach. Here's kind of who will make that call and our contact information. Grand Rapids, Taylor makes that call. Muskegon, I do. Holland, the area director, Jeff Kaiser, will make the call. And in Kalamazoo, Matt Gifford will make that call. So if you get communication from one of us and you think it might look kind of bad outside, it's usually a weather type of communication. And then we try to text all of the volunteers, if not make phone calls, but we text parents, we email parents, we email volunteers, and that for you as volunteers will either come from us or come from your lead coach.
So that was the bulk of what we had to go over today. Doesn't look like there's any questions in the chat, but we want to open it up to you guys for questions. So if you have any questions about anything we went over today, or anything about First Tee in general, or things that maybe you volunteered in the past, things you've seen in class, now's the time to ask. So feel free to come off mute, and McKenna and I will do the best to answer any questions that you guys may have.
The only question I really have is if there is a cancellation for weather, do they get to make that week up, or is it just a lost week?
That's a great question. So we always try to make up at least one class. So you can pretty much expect that if a weather cancellation happens, there'll be one extra week tacked on to the end of your session. If two classes or more get canceled, we typically don't have the time to make those up because our seasons will start to mesh together.
Sure.
So in that instance, we'll let parents know Sometimes we do refunds, different things like that to try to make up for it. But I would say pretty much guarantee in all of our communities that we're going to try to make up at least one class for weather.
Cool, okay.
Hi, Taylor and McKenna, this is Matt. So I'm brand new to the
Matt?
program. This may be a really silly question, but do we bring our clubs out and are we hitting with the kids, or are we simply there to watch them and just help as they play and do the
Great
drills and
question.
whatnot? Yeah,
I would encourage you guys as volunteers, if you would like to bring a putter and a wedge with you. Definitely don't need your whole bag usually. But sometimes you'll get an odd number of students and the kids will want you to join in a game, or it's really helpful for demonstrating. If you're trying to teach a kid something, it's nice to have your own stuff. Definitely not a requirement, but I think it usually comes in handy, and the kids always enjoy playing games against the coaches too. So
Yeah.
I would encourage that.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm with the older set. So I assume
Yep.
some of them have probably been through the program for a couple of years. Is that typical where kids have been in the program for many years?
Definitely. As you start to work up in those age groups, we've got some kids that have been in the program for 8 to 10 years. I wouldn't say that's super common, but in those older age groups, we do get them that have been in the program for 3 to 5. And I think it's gonna become more common now, as kids kind of can work up into those older age groups or come in at not necessarily like the bottom.
Yeah.
We're gonna start to see kids continuing to repeat classes.
Great.
There's a question in the chat. Is the summer program schedules up yet? Taylor and I are working tirelessly to get that up for you guys. So it should be up tomorrow. I was a safe bet tomorrow.
Yep. If you guys have access to the crazy Google sheet that has all of our courses listed by community, what we call the coach schedule, the summer classes will be listed right below the spring schedule. By tomorrow, those should be up on there at the latest on Monday, but we are releasing registration tomorrow afternoon.
Mhm.
And then is league information also displayed in that Google sheet? Or how do we get more information on the coaching the leagues or volunteering?
The
for
junior league.
leagues? Yeah,
The junior league schedule will be on the coach schedule. We are not going to release registration for junior league for probably another week or two. We just have some stuff on the back end as far as pricing and stuff goes like that for junior league, but you can definitely still sign up. So that will be up on the coach's schedule here the next day or two.
Yeah, and for Muskegon, our junior league's gonna look a little different this year, so if anyone's interested in volunteering in Muskegon for their junior league, just email me. We're kind of piloting a new program.
And just so you guys are aware, as far as volunteering in junior league, what that consists of is taking a group of 3 to 4 kids out to play 9 holes. So we have a coach go with every group, so that we're not sending any kids out by themselves. So you would be helping keep score, helping with rules, different things like that as the kids go along.
Taylor, this is Damian Sanchez. I did recently, as I'm new to the program as well, do the walk 9, coach 9, whatever it's called, with the children. I think this was a couple weeks ago. One of the issues, I don't know what the policy is. So for example, in the bunker, greenside bunker, was taking this girl numerous shots. She couldn't get out. I mean, at what point, she's new to the game, do you I know you're supposed to count every stroke, but
I would say in a situation like that, especially in the play 9 when you're not in junior league, a lot of times, I don't know if Tyler has sent this out in the play 9 text. I haven't been in on those, but a lot of times we'll use the 7-11 rule. So seven shots to the green, and then plus you can have up to 3 to 4 putts on the green. But if you're seeing a student struggle in a sand trap or from a hard lie,
Sure.
At some point we want the kids to enjoy themselves and continue to learn, but just say, hey, like in a normal round of golf, you would have to play this until you get it out. Today, we're just going to take it out and we're going to have you hit from this distance outside of the bunker.
And that's what I did. I had her drop,
Yep.
felt bad. Yeah.
We want the kids to continue to come back, and we don't want you or the student to be super frustrated, so I think you handled that just fine.
Okay, and then, and also to be clear on that, because some did and some kind of did at a certain point and then stopped doing it, is keeping their own score. My understanding is they're supposed to keep their own score. I kept a master, obviously a master scoring scorecard, but yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I would encourage the kids to try to keep their own score. You know, walk through it after each hole, even if they're not writing it down necessarily, but walking through that after each hole to give you what they think is their score.
Yeah,
And then you being able to gently correct if something was wrong, you know, things like that. But
sure.
obviously keeping score is going to be a huge part of the game. So depending on age, obviously, if you're working with the younger kids, they can struggle a little bit more with that. But as you hit that like 10, 11, 12, those
Right.
kids should be able to start, you know, keeping track of their strokes.
Sure. Yeah, and I had quite the variety. I had one young boy, he shot 1 under for the you know, the
Oh yeah.
par 4 each hole situation. So the way of scoring. So yeah, it was interesting. It was a good time though.
Good. Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Any questions? All right, well, if nobody else has any questions, then we'll give you some time back in your day. Thanks for joining us today. Feel free, if you have questions in the future, you can reach out to myself, out to McKenna. We field most of the programming questions, so we'll do our best to help you guys, and really kind of thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Without volunteers such as yourselves, we can't serve nearly as many kids or any kids at all. So thank you for everything that you do for us, and we hope to continue to see you guys out on the golf course. Have a great day.
Thanks. See you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know how to stop the recording.
Hit record again.
I don't see it as an option anymore. Oh, there.